might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing? Today is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. We are already 3 days into April. We are a quarter of the way through the year. That it feels like it just started yesterday. So I want to give everyone a round of applause for keep pushing through, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute. We keep going. We do not look back. We only look for growth and success. If you do not know who I am your host of the show and of the channel. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. So let me go ahead and put this in the chat and pin it to the top in case you forget to do me the biggest favor of liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Let's see here. All right, so we are going to get into our news, but first, a couple of things. I'm going to drop a link also in the chat to the QA event that the QA meetup that I'm doing tomorrow. And good morning, Mitch. How's it going? I'm a little tired. Like yesterday, I was up at like 3:45 a.m. yesterday trying to work on this edit this video for today, and it still didn't turn out too well. So I just had to make a slight pivot last night, and we're good. But I was like this morning, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm tired. But we are here. We do not miss. We do not miss. We had a great show last night as well. I must say, a great Q&A show. If you didn't see it, you should definitely go check it out. All right, so let me get the link to the QA event. I'm gonna drop that in the chat. Link to the QA event. That's happening tomorrow, Thursday, April 4th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're just gonna do a little QA meetup. I'll share the screen real quick on that. 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Right before we go live with our API introduction testing video or testing live stream, where we're going to get familiar with APIs. We're going to be doing it's going to be on Google Meet QA meetup. We're going to be talking about sharing different experiences in QA, tool sets, and like talking about some tools, navigating some challenges, and some ideas for networking and how I can continue to provide more value to QA people on this channel and even off the channel as well. So definitely want to check that out. I'm hoping to see you there, and like just hang out for about an hour, see how we can help each other. All right. So what we're gonna do now, we are going to get into our news stories as well. Mitch is tired too. I'm telling you, it was a long day yesterday. It was a long day. I don't even know how I made it through the stream. Like I didn't feel tired through the stream, but after I got off, I was like, whew, I'm exhausted. So I went and I crashed, and this morning I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta pull myself out of bed. But we get through it. Like I said, no complaining. We get through it. All right. So let's jump into our news. I already have my Android Studios up and the app is running. So we are good to go on that front. Hopefully we don't get any more issues. The reason that we had so many issues this past Monday is because I didn't properly shut down all the running processes from the Sunday stream with OpenDevin, and that took up a lot of resources. So I had to like shut everything down, and I pretty much like after that just restarted the computer, and things were working a lot much better. So just gotta be mindful of the resources, especially when you're streaming with the software that I'm using and the amount of power it takes for running these applications. So it can slow down your computer, but we should be in a good spot today. So we shall see. All right, let's jump into our news for today. So, first and foremost, Tesla misses the mark. So, Tesla reported an 8.5% drop in first quarter vehicle sales on Tuesday, but still managed to reclaim its spot as the world's biggest seller of electric cars. Its quarterly sales of 386,810 vehicles globally missed expectations by a wide margin, however, and represents its first annual decline in quarterly deliveries since 2020. The US company has had to contend with shutdowns of its plant outside Berlin and a retrofit of its California factory to produce an upgraded version of its Model 3. Earlier this week, it hiked prices on its Model Y. Tesla's Warren Buffett-backed rival BYD this week reported 300,114 EV deliveries in the first quarter, in addition to 324,000 hybrids. Since overtaking Tesla in quarterly EV sales late last year, BYD is sometimes viewed as a proxy for the Chinese EV industry. Well, since they are shutting down TikTok, we'll see if they'll shut down BYD and force them to sell to an American company as well. So, General Motors' first quarter sales fell 1.5% from 2023 levels to 233,000 vehicles. The drop was due to declining fleet sales as retail sales rose 6%, the company said. So, some news about Tesla. We will see. I mean, the Tesla stock was down. It was down pretty bad on Monday. So, or was it yesterday? I think it was Monday that it was down. So we shall see how that goes. Will Tesla make a huge rebound, or will it continue to dwindle down? I'm rooting for Tesla. Just saying. I'm rooting for Tesla. All right, let's jump into our next article. GE completes three-way breakup. General Electric has completed. I didn't even put the timer up. Let's put the timer up. I'm missing on all type of fronts today. All right. General Electric has completed its $191 billion devolution into three independent businesses, spinning off clean energy company GE Vernova. A slimmed-down GE Aerospace also launched as a separate entity, and GE Healthcare has been a standalone since last year. I think that's what they're trying to do with the lawsuit that they've launched against Apple as well, but I don't like it. The transition caps more than a century since Thomas Edison founded the company, which Jack Welch famously expanded into one of the world's biggest industrial conglomerates in the 1980s and 1900s, in the 1980s and 1990s. Its market cap, $6 billion in 2000, had shrunk to $191 billion before the final spinoff. The Vernova business is expected to capitalize on the economy's shift away from fossil fuels. The three-way split was masterminded by former GE CEO Larry Culp, who is now CEO of GE Aerospace. Scott Strazik is CEO of GE Vernova. Though the spinoffs are typically intended to unlock value, not all do. Bain and Company found that companies spun off from 2000 to 2020 created an average annual return of 5.1% in the 3 years after the split, compared to 8.7 returns from S&P 500 companies. So that is very, very interesting. All right. So let's see what Larry Culp said. Larry Culp, the chairman and CEO of GE Aerospace, said, what a momentous day in the history of GE. When we announced the decision to create three independent industry leaders, this was exactly the moment we had in mind, celebrating each business as a separate, publicly listed company. As standalone companies, GE Healthcare, GE Vernova, and GE Aerospace will benefit from greater focus and alignment while carrying forward GE's commitment to innovation and continuous improvement. At GE Aerospace, we are and will continue to be a global leader in aviation. As we share at our Investor Day, we are executing on services and readiness, delivering on the ramp for our customers, and inventing next generation flight technology, all with safety and quality as our top priority. I want to thank all the teams at GE who have made this possible. This final step in our transformation is a result of their hard work, focus, and determination. So, and it sounds like this is what the government is trying to force Apple into doing. So maybe have like a division of Apple Mobile, Apple Services, and Apple Computers or something like that. I don't know. So I mean, this sentiment is like when they come and they sue these companies, and for the most part, it'll like if I don't know, like it depends on the company, but I don't really like. At least this one seems voluntary, but when they try to force great companies to break up and stuff like that, great being relative to the products they produce and not necessarily the ways that they get them to be produced. That's a whole nother story. But just saying. All right, now let's jump into musicians pen warning on the AI era. So over 200 over 200 musical artists, including Elvis Costello, Katy Perry, and Pearl Jam, have signed an open letter to digital platforms, tech companies, and AI developers, warning them to cease the use of artificial intelligence to infringe upon and devalue the rights of human artists. Look, this is like every innovation that's come out, people are against it because what about the song "What About Us"? The letter cites concerns about voice replication using their work to train AI models and diluting royalty pools, and is more pointed than previous statements, calling Silicon Valley out specifically, notes Fortune. It comes as the music industry has begun backing bills to protect their work from such threats. And it's the same thing like with the taxi industry and Uber. And probably if the horse and buggy people could have sued Ford, they would have done the same thing. I mean, I'll be surprised if they didn't. And every time like new innovation comes out, there's going to be people whining and complaining. Talking about what about us? What about us? You're going to hurt us. You're going to hurt us. Hey, you better find out a way to capitalize on this. Imagine if you can even produce way more music using your name, image, and likeness of your voice to do more. Like I use AI to do more. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Maybe you guys can jump on that train as well. Imagine if we can use AI to do holographic concerts, and you can do a live quote unquote in person concert in like 50 different countries on the same exact night. Talk about the bags that what?
Thank you for your patronage.
That's what I would be saying. We need to find ways to use this type of stuff to our advantage. Okay. All right. Lastly, let's get to Forbes records a billionaire boom. So speaking of musicians, and then they have Mrs. Taylor Swift up here. And all right, so billionaire boom. It's a good time to be a billionaire. When was it ever a bad time to be a billionaire, huh? When was it ever a bad time to be a billionaire? The ranks of the 3 Comma Club have swelled to a record 2,781 people, according to Forbes' 2024 billionaires list, with 2/3 having seen their fortunes grow in the past year along surging markets. An AI Gold Rush account for more than a dozen of the 265 entrants to the billionaire class, a list that includes French shoe designer Christian Louboutin. I think I probably said that terribly, but hey, name brands, fashion, France. I don't know. Pop star Taylor Swift and Shein 3 co-founders. Compared to a decade ago, billionaires are 120% richer today, with the aggregate wealth totaling a record 14.2 trillion. Did you say trillion? Yes, I said trillion dollars. 14.2 trillion. The top 5, LVMH, Bernard Arnault, 233 billion. Tesla's Elon Musk, 195 billion. Amazon's Jeff Bezos. Oh, Elon Musk just beat Jeff Bezos by $1 billion, 194 billion. Meta's Mark Zuckerberg with a lowly 177 billion. And Oracle's Larry Ellison coming in last with 141 billion. I wouldn't mind coming in 100th, to be honest with you. The 0.05, there are now 14 centi billionaires, or people worth 10 billion or more, up to in 1987. Dozen digit billionaires have seen their wealth grow 255% over the past 10 years to a collective $2 trillion, with 0.5% of billionaires possessing 14% of all billionaire wealth. So shout out to the centi billionaires, not just the billionaires, but the centi billionaires. All right, I have a bot war going on in my chat. So let's do this. We're going to cease the bot war. We're going to have a ceasefire. And what's going on, Pluto? Shout out to Pluto on early this morning. Welcome to the show. How is it going, Pluto? Let me see if I can stop this crazy bot war that we have going on here. Let's see. All right. Hopefully that ended the war. Okay, so we are going to jump. What time is it? It is 7. All right, I'll throw up. We'll do 20 minutes this morning. I did get started late. Like I said, exhausted from yesterday. It was up since 3:45 a.m. Working on this video, trying to figure out how to blur parts of a video, and then class in the morning, work all day, live stream with you guys, and then finished up trying to still work on this video. So it was a busy day. So let's throw up 20 minutes on the clock. If I can find it. All right, 20 minutes is up. Let's get to work. All right. So got a slightly different layout so I can see the code and see these at the same time. And it'll look slightly blurry for the time being, but we can make adjustments as needed. I can expand and stuff like that. But let's go from here. So this is already running. Let me see if I was to go like that. Okay, cool. So this is a little better. So what we also want to do, let's go ahead and add these buttons over here to clear out this field, and then we'll have all of our buttons added, and then we can also should be clear. And then we can start working on adding our tests. So let's get this taken care of real quick. Additional cost of activities. So, and I really want to refactor this code at some point. Maybe after we get the this into the App Store, then we can go back and refactor this code so it can be like a lot cleaner, a lot more separate. And another thing I was looking for, because I don't even know how to do this yet, is but to add additional screens to the application. We'll be ending up adding a menu bar down here so you can switch to different pages. But that is all in time to come. But we like to get our MVP out first, and just get something out there into the public, into the wild, to start getting feedback. And even if the ratings, like, see here, and here's the thing, I think a lot of people are afraid of is getting bad ratings. I don't think we should ever like fear feedback. If our work is terrible, we should know that our work is terrible, honestly. And then that's how we're going to get better. But if we don't want people to hurt our feelings, then we're never going to make it. We're never going to survive. All right. So let's do a search for additional cost of activity. And we're just going to find this X button up here. But one thing we won't skip out on is writing our test, because when we go to refactor, our test is what's going to keep us honest. Because if our tests continue to pass, because if I make changes in here, all my tests up here should still pass unless the changes I make are intended to change the functionality of the test. So that's something we always have to keep in mind when so our tests, those are non-negotiable. Normally, not normally, but when doing test-driven development, you would want to write your test first, but it's a little bit more complicated to write tests first when you are totally unfamiliar with the language that you are using. So, but at least I'll be able to have mapped out what tests I need, and then as I'm learning how to implement it, then I will also I'll figure out how to write the code, and then I'll go back and figure out how to write the test. So this is the code that we need. We need this right here. Under input decoration, we're going to get this suffix icon, which is going to be this little icon at the end. And we are going to do the onPressed. Let's see. So let's take this whole suffix. So let's take this whole block right here. And where does it end? Let's take this whole block. And then after we do this, we're still gonna have to make some modifications to the formulas in the set state, but at least we'll get our buttons entered. All right, activity time cost. And then we have, all right, additional cost of activity. So right here, we would want to do suffix icon, and then icon button. And if we were to just get rid of all of this, we're just going to paste this into there. Let's see. Why did this one spaz out on us? Invalid const keyword. All right, there we go. And so now we have to add the const here. Okay, cool. And we're going to need it on this one as well. And like I said, that's something I'm going to have to read up into a little bit more to get a better idea of what, because when and where the constant keywords are supposed to go. All right, so we have this one, and the controller on this one is going to need to be additional cost. So it's not your hours spent on activity. This one's going to be where your additional cost of activity. So here is going to be this and this. And then get user entered time spent on activity. So this one should be get user entered additional cost of activity and parse your additional cost of activity dot text. And I think the rest could stay that way. All right, so now we're going to do the same exact thing. Copy this. And we're going to go down over to the last one where we are going to do the money made from activity. Suffix icon button. And we're just going to replace this as well. We're going to leave this constant button and we're going to remove this one. And we're going to add them to over here. And fix all. Let's see. We're going to put it over here. And over here. All right, so now, lastly, before we go to making some more changes, we need to say, this one's going to be, what is this one? Your money made from activity is the controller. We're going to say, clear that field, set that to 0. Set that to 0, and this is get money, what you say, oh, get user entered profit from activity. All right, so we'll look at the set states afterwards to see if there's anything that needs to be done into that. But this should be adding our X buttons to clear these fields out for these fields. So let's go ahead and let's run it again. So right now, as we see, it's doing a hot restart, syncing the files to the SDK device. And let's see, so application restarting, and now we have our buttons. So we have our X buttons to clear out the fields. So after we're done with that, we are going to be adding one more button where I don't know where I should add this button. That's a good question. Where should I add this button? Because I do want a, let me see how this looks. This is too big. I do want a clear all button, right? Where should it be a floater? Like, should it float across the side of if I want to clear all, I just click a X button to clear all, and then I get a pop that says, "Are you sure you want to clear all the fields?" And reset or maybe a reset. I don't know. I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting thing to figure out. We'll talk about that later. But let's go ahead and let's test each of these fields manually. So, and you see, like there's testing involved in everything that we do. So let's say we go to just do 10,000 or 100,000 here. I notice it looks a little blurry because of the aspect ratio, but please bear with me. I wonder if there's any way I can make it better. I don't know if there's anything I could do about that. I'd love to make it a little bit more clear. But let's say we clear this out. All right, so this is good. And we can test each one of these individually. And we'll have different tests around this because I can imagine a few tests like testing each one of these X buttons on their own, and then making sure like this one when we click the X. I think we already have a test for this where all of these reset to 0. But then when you click on the X of this, when you click on like you don't want like you do want this one to be reset, but you don't want the everything else to be reset. So that's so some ideas and concepts that we're going to have to consider. But we do have so let's say we put in here, and let's go ahead and put in a back like let's put 200K up here, right? Or 2 million, that's fine. And we got I'm Technically Tim in the building. What's up? I'm Technically Tim. Welcome to the show. Well, good morning. Good morning to you as well. I love to see when my people are up early in the morning getting after it. All right. So, all right. So let's say we have 10 hours in here. And let's say we X this one out. So good. This reset. And technically this is like I would want this instead of this being 0 to be like just blank, but because I would really ultimately want it to be like that. Which we could do, which let me see. Do I have let me check if I have a to do in there. Go here. All right, activity cost calculator. So I want to put in here. Let's do a to do. And instead of setting to 0, set field to empty, but treat as 0. So similar to that we're doing up top because when we are, we'll check that after. But so let's go into here and let's try this button. So additional cost of activity, let's say it is $2,000 or 20, but 2,000. We scroll down a little bit more. So money spent is 2,000. If I clear this field, see, and so when we clear this field, we also want this to be empty, but we also want the money spent to be reset to the calculation to be reset to 0 as well. But we do have the actual clear working for the most part. I'm going to copy. Let's just see what happens if we were to do. we were to do this, I know that's not going to work because if I set this to 0, and then it's going to try to parse a blank field. So we need to say, where we do it up here, if, all right, so all right, now I remember what happened because I need to be able to pass the value into the, I need to be able to pass the value. So that's why we have it like that. So for now, until I figure out this value part, we're just gonna have to leave it like that for a little bit. Or we'll figure that out. So that's why I didn't do it yet because I was like when I had tried to put the value in the on pressed, it was giving me. So if I go here, it was giving me an error saying the argument void function dynamic can be assigned to parameters type void function. So so that's something. All right, we'll look into that. No biggie. But let's leave this at 0 for now so we don't have a bunch of errors. And then let's try out this field as well. Money made from activity. The number below it is going to be wrong because we're not clearing that calculation yet. But if we clear this out, so this does clear, but with 0 in there, which we don't want ultimately. But for now, we'll leave that. But let's work on clearing the the calculations. Okay, so let's see. So set state your total hours spent on activity. So we did that one. So we have this in here. So the actualized cost of activity based on spent hours. I think we have the set state in there, don't we? So like there is math involved in this, believe it or not. Okay, so all right, Tammy, take it easy. Have a great day. Appreciate you as always. Have a wonderful day out there, all right?
Lunch break, lunch break.
Why didn't this not show up? There we go. And I'm about to wrap it up myself because it is break time. But let's take a quick look at this before we wrap it up to see what is it that we're missing over here. Time spent on activity. Let's see. Total, so cost of activity. Yeah, this code is like too linear for me. Like we're gonna have to do a major refactor organization of this code. Let's see. Additional cost of activity. All right, so there's the additional cost of activity. So when this is set to 0 and we have the set state activity, so user hours spent on activity. Oh, okay. So this is the problem. The user hours spent on activity. This should be user hours spent on activity. This should be the under the on press. So we have to find it under this one. We're going to additional cost of activity. Oh no. User additional cost of activity. Ah, okay. Let's take this one. Get the user additional cost of activity. All right, we're gonna leave it as that. So now when we come in next time, we are going to get this to reset, because I just have to dig into the spend a little bit more time to dig into the code. So what we're gonna go is we're gonna put a to do here, and we're gonna put the date. So right around here as well. To do next show. Get the money made field to calculate correctly based on cleared field. All right, so that's going to be the goal for the next show. To whatever that's going to be, whether it's Monday or whether we have some additional time this week, we are going to say, all right, when we clear this out, and I also want to find out how to get this to be like totally clear too. But when we clear this out, we want this to, so if this is like 50, we want this, and this is 0. This needs to be like just 500 and not 4,500. So we just need to get that calculation to rework itself. When you clear this out, this should be 0 right now. So we'll figure that out. All right. But that's it for today. Hopefully the stream worked fine and we didn't have any crazy issues like we did this past Monday. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of the subscribers, all the tech barbarians, all of the tech mercenaries. You guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me this morning, and I will see you tomorrow night. Don't forget, we have our intro to APIs video coming out at noon today, where it gives you not only does it give you a great breakdown of APIs, it also gives you an introduction on how you can start using APIs today and getting familiar with them, because APIs run the world. Like everything you see with AI and stuff like that, they're using APIs and stuff like that. So you definitely want to tune in. So look out for that at noon Eastern time today. Okay. That being said, I am going to wrap it up. If you haven't done so yet, do me a huge favor. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live and drop new content. And if you need some personalized one-on-one coaching with me, go over to www.techcoachralph.dev. But on that note, you guys have a great, wonderful Wednesday, middle of the week. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. This is Tech Coach Ralph, and we are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Enthusiasts, are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.